Welcome to CNNN. The completely normal news reporting on normal news. I'm Vogue Lamb. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Grandma. Hi, Dog. Hi, Cat. Hi, TV.
And I'm Hannah Strongman, back with another week's normal news reporting normally.
Could this get any better? I guarantee it cannot.
Could this get any worse? Who hired this kid?
I am the unpaid intern of Sprinkles. You can thank him for me.
Oh, I will. A monkey was caught monkeying around when he found an unattended phone. A Malaysian student was sleeping when the culprit decided it was golden hour to take selfies. Later that day, the student recovered his phone from the jungle floor. What he found on the phone were stunning videos from inside the thief's mouth and artistically blurred photos. Well, I call this a win for the student. He got free art.
I will be a monkey's uncle? Is that something you say? Regardless, it's amazing.
Moving on.
Yes, following that banana stories are raccoons. Literally, 14 raccoons came out of the bushes to greet a father and son on a walk. See as how we are broadcasting to millions on our show. This must be a normal thing in San Francisco. I'm sorry, English second language. Is it a normal occurrence in San Francisco? Let us know. On the ground, we have Winifred. Are you there?
They're falling from the sky, I know.
Is she okay? Can we get her back? Is this a normal occurrence on your show? I thought it was gonna be safe in a news. Anyway, I'm just receiving word. No one was harmed at the sighting of these trash pandas. But the dog got in a good fright. The father made a statement saying, it was so surreal. A posse of bandits, like out of a movie. And then 2 minutes later, there was a coyote. I was waiting for the unicorn to pop out. Is that very realistic?
Well, have you ever seen a unicorn?
I'm not stupid, but I am cool.
Yes, well, debatable, but irrelevant. My point is, if you've never seen one, you can't prove it doesn't exist. That's the end.
We'll be CNNNNN you later on completely normal news. Bye, Mom!
Good evening, everyone!
Good evening.
Mark, you took too long. We had to jump into it. We don't want to have a lot of
That's
dead
my
space
fault.
right
Hey.
now, so it's my turn to be mad. It's my turn to be mad. My name's Dan Spikala, and I get to be mad tonight.
You're not even good at
Please
it.
now.
Guys,
I feel
welcome
like
to
you
the
don't
Front
have
Show.
the talent.
I hope everybody's doing great tonight. We got a huge show. It's packed with so much good stuff tonight, and we're ready to rock. I'm not even going to waste time asking everybody how they're doing because I know you're doing great. I'm going to jump into, I already said welcome, so welcome.
Can everybody
I'm
show
gonna
us their jump?
Something.
Everybody show us a
I'm
jump.
jumping.
Ready? Jump in. Ready?
Last week, it feels like somebody I know and love got shamed a little bit. A cultural icon, which somebody on the show last week in the comments didn't even know who he was. So today I'm angry. Somebody didn't know who Chuck Norris is and was and whoever will be forever will be. Chuck Norris.
What?
Yes,
That's disappointing.
is a cultural. Anna, who are you gonna hit with that? Chuck
Jeez.
Norris, a cultural icon, and some students last week on our comments had no idea, and I am angered by that. So today, I'm going to give you reasons to recognize Chuck Norris as the most influential cultural icon of all time, other than Jesus. Maybe
Good.
just second place behind Jesus.
Good
But Chuck
clarification.
Norris. That's important. All right, I'm gonna tell you why he's awesome. Number one, the dinosaurs looked at Chuck Norris the wrong way once. Did you know that? You know what happened to them? They all died.
What?
Okay.
Hey, no.
They did all die.
You think that way is true?
Okay.
All right. All right. Secondly, other reasons why Chuck Norris is a cultural icon. Chuck Norris can dribble a bowling ball. Did you know that? No, you didn't, world. Thirdly, Chuck Norris has never blinked in his entire life, ever. Never, ever, ever. See, you can't do it either. I'm angry that you're even trying. Fourthly, and I'm going to stop saying numbers because I don't know how to go even higher with that. Did you know that some kids pee their name in snow? Do you know what Chuck Norris does? He can pee his name into concrete.
That's not right.
Anna, it's right. And it's
That's
perfect.
that's
And I'm
not
angry that
right.
not enough people know it. Also, Chuck Norris's calendar goes straight from March 31st to April 2nd. Do you know why? Because no one fools Chuck Norris, okay? That's how awesome he is. Here we go. Another reason why he's so awesome. Chuck Norris can do a wheelie on a unicycle.
No way. Not at all.
There's a way, and it's been done only once
That's
by
like
Chuck
doing a
Norris.
cartwheel by being a one-legged person, right?
If Chuck Norris was a one-legged person, he'd have two legs, okay? Chuck Norris is amazing, all right? Did you know this? Once a cobra bit Chuck Norris's leg, and after 5 days of excruciating pain, do you know what happened? The cobra died. That's what happens. That's what happens. Here we go. Another reason. Chuck Norris, did you know this? He can kill 2 stones with 1 bird, okay?
I don't think that's right. I think it's supposed to be the other way around.
Naomi, put your mute button back on. I'm talking. Here we go. When Chuck Norris enters a room, he doesn't turn the lights on. He turns the dark off. All right? Also, when we're almost done, Chuck Norris can tie his shoes with his feet. Okay? So, last one. Here's the reason why he's a cultural icon, and all you students who don't know about him should always know about him. Chuck Norris once kicked a horse in the chin. The horse's descendants are now known as giraffes.
That's incredible. And thank you, Chuck Norris. I love giraffes.
Thank you, Joe, for your wonderful comment, and thank you, Chuck Norris.
Thank you, Chuck. Everyone in the comments right now say thank you,
Thank
Chuck
you.
Norris, for
Thank
being
Chuck
who
Norris.
you are.
Thank you, Chuck Norris.
Thank you, Chuck Norris. Hey,
We love the chin check.
love the yes. Make sure we lost Anna. Make sure you like this video now. Make sure you comment on this video now. Make sure you share this video now and all through the show because we have a lot of really cool things happening now.
Share it multiple times.
Speaking of commenting, every single week when you comment, we see your comments and then we like to share your comments. So, Joel, Anna, Naomi, are you ready to share the comments? Let's go comment of the week.
I'm ready.
Comment of the week. Who's first? Joel.
Yes.
What you got?
I have one from Matthew Wicks. It says, that is just wrong. Pastor Mark is preaching from Mark 10:45.
I know, I wrote it.
Is that
I'm so
a
assuming.
verse that doesn't exist? Or like, how is, I'm confused.
There's the fact that Mark's preaching about himself. I mean,
Yeah, stop quoting yourself, Mark. That's just wrong. I never speak
mean,
out
it is
of
the
the
best
book
book
of
in the
Daniel
Bible.
because I already know too much about it. Who's next? Naomi.
Daniel's a weird book.
Naomi, you got a comment?
Yeah, my comment of the week was from Gen C, and she had praise hands.
Looks like a little field goal.
drop them
Drop
below.
the comments and the praise hands in the comments. Drop that way. There, that way. Love it.
Let's do Jazz.
Love it. Anna, you have one?
I do. Mine is from Ryan Seegers, and it says, this show is awesome! Which, 1, I agree, and 2, shout out to the Wake Forest campus pastor.
There you go.
Ryan is awesome.
We know celebrities, obviously.
Love you, Ryan.
We know people. I saw him the other month in the office, and he looked at me. So that's pretty.
I think he's
that's a big deal.
Long-time listener, first-time commenter, I think. That's
Ooh,
yeah,
We noticed
Friend
these
of the
comments.
show.
that's
And
pretty
First time.
cool.
Guys, I have an idea. We should get
Good
T-shirts that says "I watched across the student show," and on the back says "We are friends." Oh, we can be friends.
Oh my god, yeah.
Great.
Only if they're fishnet t-shirts, like you and our, like
Gross.
you already have.
Speaking of gross things that you never want to see and can't get out of your eyeballs, this week on the internet, let's take a look and see what we found on the internet this week for you.
Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza for you and me.
Baseball trick shots. Wait. He made.
So our next question, Stevan, it's this. If I feel like sharing my faith, how do I do that today?
I mean, I believe it's kind of simple. I believe, number one, it's your life. It's your lifestyle, right? Like, how does your life share who God is, right? What's your lifestyle looking like? And not that you got to be perfect, not that you got to be, everything, but just be consistent and make sure that you're honorable to what God's word says, right? Because I learned this a long time ago. My father-in-law used to tell me this, that we are the 67th book of the Bible, right? 66 books, but there's a 67th book that they probably read the most, and that's us, right? But also the scripture, it says in John 14:6 that he says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. I believe it's by the truth, right? People they've heard about Jesus' life a lot of times in the way that we should live, but a lot of them don't know the truth. Right? There's a lot of truth that are being thrown out there, but there's only one absolute truth, and that's the Bible. And so I believe truth in your lifestyle is the best way.
That's so good, man. I love that idea of taking opportunities to speak truth, because any situation that you're in, there's truth that can be spoken. And even if you don't reference Jesus, you're still speaking his truth into that moment. And the Bible says that if people seek, they'll find. If they knock, the door will be open. So by discovering truth together with your friends, you're actually showing them parts of who God is, and it's so powerful.
So good, man. I have a question for you as well that came in. It says, what are your thoughts about everything that's been going on?
There's a lot going on.
I mean, depending on the week, right?
Depending on the week. Every week there's something new. Well, this last week, I'm assuming they're referencing Breonna Taylor and that ruling that came down. And whenever it comes to racial reconciliation and how to approach that conversation, I think the most important thing for everyone to have is empathy. It's the ability to ask the question, if this was me, how would I feel? The Bible says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, love your neighbor as yourself, and do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So the idea here is in this conversation, if I was the African American being shot, how would I feel?
Right. Yeah.
If I was a cop, how would I feel?
Right.
Would I want the way the media is portraying all of this to happen to me? And most of the time, in every one of these situations, when I look at it and I try to be empathetic, I'm like, something's wrong.
Right.
Something's on all avenues. Something is
wrong.
seriously
Exactly.
wrong, and we need to approach conversations with that openness of saying, if this was me, how would I feel? How would I want to be treated? How would I want to be responded to? And then let that dictate how we communicate, how we lean in, how we influence the situation.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, empathy, my wife always tells me about it. I mean, it's understanding, right? It's like you said, putting your feet in someone else's shoes or your body in someone else's seat. And I think that's what we're missing in the country, right?
Yeah.
Is that understanding, which will lead us to unity that we're missing. And so I believe there's so many more problems that's going to happen. We know that. It's nothing new to God, but it may be new to us. And that's why we need to go to our word. That's why we need to talk through this in small groups and have community so that we don't have this thought by ourselves and struggle. So thank you to whoever asked that question. It's definitely helped us to have a real conversation to dive into this week. So
why did a student text in, how do we block out other distractions? So even if you all make that commitment to say, I want Jesus and I'm all for it, undoubtedly something's going to come along and become a distraction. How do we block out our distractions?
It's not easy. It's hard. But first of all, you have to claim it as a desire of your heart. Because if it's just not, no matter what you do, you're not going to set aside that space for it. But like I said, finding tools, like I literally have broken up with some social media, and I just taken it off my phone. It's not there anymore because it distracts me from looking at other things that I feel like I need to look at and prioritize. Setting timers on your phone, like reminders on your phone. Hey, remember, you want this. This is something you want today. So let's do that right now for 5 minutes. Giving yourself that 5 minutes to jump into that and then make space for the other stuff. But when we prioritize the things in our lives, we need to make sure that we're doing those most important things first, and then all that filler we get tuck in afterwards. But when we let the silly games on the phone, those are things that we fill in, which are great when you're in the waiting room at the doctor's office. But 5 minutes turns into 5 hours, and then you didn't make time for that important stuff. If this is really important, if this is really our goal, we need to schedule that first and then work in those things around it. But it is not easy.
I love what we're doing every single week in the student ministry, because each week that you come on a Sunday morning, it's a little bit different. So what you just watched was from this past weekend service where we let students ask questions to me, to Stevan, and to Mark, and we took time to answer them live and in person. And tonight, we're going to take some more of those questions and have dialogues around the thoughts that you asked for. So as we have this discussion, students, in the comments, what I want you to do is, if you have any questions that you're looking to get answered about God, about what this new normal in Christ looks like, drop them in the comments and we can have a dialogue right over there. And if there's a conversation that needs to last longer, we can follow up with you later and continue the conversation. So tonight, 3 questions we're going to go through. First one, Naomi, I'm going to pose it to you first. It's this: why is it so important to address the new normal that we currently have access to because of Jesus' life and death on the cross?
I would say it's important to address it because if we're constantly thinking about what's happening, what's happened in the past, and we're so focused on what's happening then we won't be able to prepare for what he has planned for us in the future. And even though the new normal may be hard, it may be stressful, it may not be what you want, it's still something that he has prepared for you, and you have to get through it.
Yeah, just to add on to that, if we are constantly, like she said, living in the past or living in the future, then it's very hard to get things done. It's very easy to get distracted.
Yeah, I think that it's hard to wrap our mind around something if we don't define it. So if we don't define where we are now, then we're not going to be able to pursue what God has for us.
No, I think that's a really, really interesting thought that you guys are pulling on, this concept that this moment matters because of what Jesus did, but you can't live in your own past, and you can't spend too much time concerned about the future. Matthew talks about, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow has enough in trouble of itself. And we can't go back and change what we did, but Jesus has created this new normal for us, that even in this season of everything being new, we still have that hope of what Jesus did and what it means for us today. And, you know, during the season, I think a lot of students can forget that the new normal of Christ, this hope available to us, is consistent through all the change that we are all feeling. I love it. Hey, Joel, I'm gonna come ask you this question. How do you, not me, because how do you as a student handle the fact that our parents are, maybe we can feel like they're kind of clueless, just like all of us are in the station. Like, no one has an answer. Like, I don't have an answer. I'm an adult. Your parent might not have an answer. You don't have an answer. So how do you, as students, handle that tension?
Yeah, I think as a student, that obviously means we are still minors. We are still under our parents' control. And so that means that in all of the situations and answers that our parents have come up with, regardless of whether I agree with them, whether I think they're right, whether I think they're wrong, the biggest thing that for us to do as students is respect them and follow their decisions. Now, do I have to necessarily agree with it? No, because that's a matter of opinion. But the matter of my actions of respecting it and following what they say to do is, I think, one of the biggest things that we can do at this time.
Yeah, I think that that's a really good point. I think that for me, though, it's not the same for everyone. For me, personally, I find comfort in the fact that my parents are going through it at the same time I'm going through this, because it's kind of a bonding thing. You're going through something slightly traumatic as a family, and you're able to have the same response as your parents.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Anna just said. Like, our parents are like new to what's happening just as we are. And so they're learning as we're learning at the same time. And so we're both growing, and that like can help the relationship that we have with each other.
Yeah, and I've heard that. I've seen both of these dynamics that play with different students I've talked to. You know, on one hand, you have students who are wanting to do more, and the parents are saying, no, not yet. And that can cause tension. But on the other hand, I've seen this bond between parents and their students grow closer together. Because like you're all saying, the unknown of the season is real to all of us. None of us have lived through a global pandemic before. None of us have lived through schools being shut down and works going virtual. Nobody knows what that means. So I think it's important that we all treat each other with grace. That through the seasons, students hear this, your parents are figuring it out. And in their figuring it out, they'll make mistakes. I've made mistakes as a parent. I've made mistakes as a student pastor. Like, we've tried stuff in the student ministry that just hasn't worked. Because honestly, we don't know what we were trying to do right away. Like, we're still figuring this out. So having grace, saying, hey, I recognize that this is hard for you, this is hard for me, but together, being unified, being in community, we can support each other. And then the bond that is created in these families who are leaning into each other, not running away from each other, it's really cool to see. And students, if you're watching this and you have a family life that might be a little bit more complicated, I just want to encourage you, small group community, we're here in the comments, we're here to dialogue with you so that you can have that place that through the season of unknown, you can know that the community around you has your back and loves you. Because we are here, we love you, and we want to make sure that we all remain as healthy as possible. Anna, I have a question I'd like to transition to. Another one that was shared this last Sunday in the services. It talks about this. What are some practical steps I can take to show that I care about some of the social justice issues or justice for all? Since we can't necessarily change the government, you all can't vote yet, you can't go in and change the system from the insides, what can students do day in and day out to help change the culture around them?
Honestly, flatly, just be kind. Sticking up for those who don't have anyone to stick up for them is the greatest way that you can show Jesus and show that you care and love everyone. And not standing for someone talking about someone else behind their back. So if you hear your friend talking about someone, even if you don't like them, even if they're a mean person in person and you don't like them, like, don't join in and say, hey, that's not okay. We don't talk about people. It doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Anna just said. Like, if we approach the situation, no matter what it is, like even if a person has a different point of view than we do, we can't approach the situation with hatred and with anger, because that'll just lead to fighting and even more fighting, and it won't resolve anything. So if we approach the situation with kindness and by loving each other, then it'll help the problem a lot more.
Joel, I want you to share your thoughts too, but kind of approach it from this idea. How can responding in this way help our witness?
Yeah, that's really funny that you said that, because one thing that has come up to me recently, in different research that I've been doing for school, is that in the Great Commission, God never says, go out unto all the nations and tell them about how sinful they are, and then they'll come and really want to join your cause. No, he says, go out into all the nations, making disciples, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And throughout his life and his ministry, he showed us how to do that by loving anyone that he came across, by, caring for them. Like you guys were saying, sticking up for them, even when nobody else was. I know that loving someone and really having their back and creating a good relationship, not one of condemnation, will really be able to open doors to maybe tell them why you act a particular way.
No, that's so true. And the potential of this season, everyone's, like we talked about this last question, everyone is in this unknown season looking for something, looking for connection, looking for community, looking for hope, love. And Jesus is that hope. And in Matthew, it tells us that he said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. On these two laws hang all the law and the prophets. And this golden rule of do unto others as you would have them do unto you is what you're all talking about. It's asked. We talked about this on a previous episode of the YouTube show, and it's if you don't want it done to you, don't do it to other people. So how can students be active and involved in caring about justice for all? It's treating others the way they want to be treated, the way you want to be treated. It's this mindset that says, I love you. I will love my neighbor as myself. And Jesus was asked, who's my neighbor? And he responded, it's the Samaritan. It's in that time, it's the people that you don't get along with. It's the people that you think are lower than you. The people that you disagree with are the people you're supposed to love as you love yourself. And if we can do that, if we can love people that we even disagree with as we love ourselves, if we can treat them the way we want to be treated, if we can have empathy, if we can have kindness, we will see the culture that we have change. Anna has a thought. Go ahead, Anna.
Adding to that, can we break down just for 1 second, love your neighbor as yourself, which means you have to love yourself before you can love your neighbor. And we treat ourselves, we are our worst critics. We treat ourselves worse probably than any other person would treat us. And so if we learn how to be kind to ourselves, then that is going to show, and we will learn how to treat others better as well.
Love that. And that goes to your self-talk, things that you habitually say to yourself about yourself, taking on the identity of Christ, what he says about you over than what maybe friends or social media or culture says about you, and choosing to believe true things, not just what you hear. One last thought about this. When it comes to changing the world, a lot of times we can get focused on changing the system. Hey, I need to change America. But we have this passion to change and fight for that. But we neglect fighting for the sphere of influence that we have. We neglect fighting for the friends who live across the street. We know all about these social media influencers. We know about who trends on TikTok, but we don't know our neighbor's first name. We care so much about changing the universe, but we forget about the people who live 2 minutes away. And so many times, all we have to do in this conversation is choose to fight for what we can actually impact. And those are the students that follow you on Instagram, follow you on TikTok. Those are the students who go to your small group. Those are the friends who you see on Zoom at school. Those are the students you see in your classrooms at school. That is where your impact is. That is where your life change can happen. And it starts with kindness, being kind to yourself, and then treating others the way you want to be treated. Love the conversations. Thank you, everyone. If you dropped a comment in the side, we'll be chatting over there continually. If you have any comments or questions that came up, make sure you drop them in the comments to the left. Make sure you check out Sunday morning, because every single week we're doing something a little bit different. We do Sunday Fun Day once a month. We do these questions once a month. We have multiple speakers some weeks of the month. So every single week's a little bit different. Make sure you check it out. And you get a little bit of that content here. But speaking of Sunday, we have a new series starting next Sunday called The GOAT. So to find out a little more about it, check out this video to see what's coming next.
Yeah. So we have a new series coming your way, The GOAT. We can't wait to jump into it. The greatest of all times. There's a lot of people talking about who's the greatest. We want to help you with that, knowing who the greatest is, not just in the world, but in our lives, and that's Jesus. And so we're going to have a conversation this month, talking through that, having some real dialogue, and we can't wait to jump into that. So you got to get here. Make sure you're watching online. Make sure you're in person for the in-person experience every Sunday at 9 and 11 at Wake Forest, and at 11, where? At Millbrook. Can't wait for you to come join us and be a part of it.
So there's a bunch of ways that students can remain connected through the week.
So
yeah,
what's the ways? We have three.
We have a handful. Anna, what's one of the ways that students can remain connected throughout the week?
Instagram, duh. Go to students.crossroads. You can get sermon content. You can get fun stuff. You can even access these shows on there. I mean, they're pretty cool, I think.
And you can also RSVP for Sunday morning. Joel, what's another way?
They can share this video. Guys, sharing is caring. And not only when you share this video are you caring for other people, but we appreciate having money. So if you could share this video, that would be fantastic.
You guys are getting paid for this?
The more shares, the more.
Remember, you said that I'm getting paid. This is the agreement.
You're getting paid, Joel. Joel, you're the only one getting paid.
I'm still waiting for that makeup.
So we have the show. We have small groups. Do we have groups of people meeting virtually or in homes, Naomi, that people can join that are like a small group of people?
Yes, we do. Join a small group. Do it. Do it.
I couldn't remember the name. It's small group. Everyone say it with me.
Small
group.
You know what's in my small group?
Very out of sync.
Smooth. Don't worry about it. So RSVP for Sunday. Join a small group.
Is it like
connected?
Small group like Stroop?
No. So this is the end of the show. Everyone be sad. This is where we leave you. But before we leave you, in the comments, make sure you say goodbye to your friends. Say goodbye to everyone commenting along the way. And as you say goodbye, this is what I need from everyone else on screen to entertain those saying goodbye. Since this is a sad moment, I want you to make your saddest animal sound. So Chuck Norris punched a giraffe in the chin, or made a giraffe with his foot. What noise did that giraffe make when he got punched in the chin or kicked in the chin by Chuck Norris? Mark, go.
Oh my gosh!
That's not a noise, that's a voice.
Not sad.
Anna, what's a sad sound a giraffe would make when get kicked in the chin? Go.
Ah!
No, you're not Anna. Go, Anna. Joel, if you were a cow getting punched in the gut, what sound would you make? Go. Cow, punch in the gut.
Me?
Yes, Joel.
I couldn't hear what you said. Anna was doing a fantastic
Joel.
job.
Perfect. Naomi, if you were a chicken getting smacked in the
like a
face,
whale.
what sad noise would you make? Go. Stevan, if you were a Leopleurodon, which is a dinosaur from ancient times, getting sucker punched by Chuck Norris back a couple, however long ago they existed, what would you sound like and why? Go. Okay, now everyone, make those sounds one more time as we say goodbye. You all have a good night. Make your getting punched in the face by Chuck Norris sounds. Go.
Wow, that was so scary.
love the Crossroads Show.